Good evening. Welcome to another episode of The Burglar Report. Your number one choice for news, politics, and dusty-ass fake plants. I, of course, am your red-blooded host, Dave Steppenwolf. Now, before I begin my segment, I just want to comment on the fact that my channel's been growing ever so slightly. Little baby steps, all good. But I guess what I'm getting at is, if you're new to the channel, you're scrolling, you're wondering what the fuck this is, well, I've always been a bit of an aspiring pundit, and I like to report news and talk politics and probably not bore the fuck out of my wife. So, here I am, drinking an adult beverage, a little bit of ranting, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, mostly awkward fucking weirdness. It's all part of the shtick, though. But I tell you, not for kids. In any case, you're probably going to enjoy what you see, so like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitch. I go live on the weekends, stream, whatever, and have some good conversations. Also, I started a BitChute, been uploading regularly to that, so if you want to follow me on that, in case, fucking YouTube with their super fascist abilities right now want to take my channel down for, before it even gets started, whatever. Alright, in any case, let's get into it. A lot of big news today. A lot of news today. You had AG Barr resigning or getting fired, whatever. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to go with the Trump train is still rolling. I know what you're thinking. What are you talking about? Today's the 14th, Electoral College, all the voting and all that. I understand. And you know what? You look at the mainstream media, that's what they're talking about. But it all depends on what mainstream media you're following. You're looking at the left, they're showing you all these states voting for Biden. You're looking for the right, showing you mostly that, but you'll see something like, I believe Nevada also had a second set of votes for Trump. And if you don't know what we're talking about here, at least 4 states, I believe so far, Nevada, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, had a second set of electors cast their votes in contention. Don't know what that's going to mean. Could mean a little something, could mean a whole lot of nothing. But while it being unfamiliar territory in these trying times, it's not unprecedented. I believe the most recent occurrence of this was in 1960, the Kennedy-Nixon election. And Hawaii certified the votes for Republican nominee Nixon, signed up by the governor, much like we have now. All these states all certified for Biden. Media was like, oh, it's over. States are certified. Blah, blah, blah. And now the votes are in. States are certified. Blah, blah, blah. Or votes are cast. It's still not the case. Anyways, you had one set of votes certified, signed up by the governor for Nixon. Some recounts going on. Some new information came up. And so you had a second set of votes heading to Washington, D.C. to Congress for Kennedy. And so when they go to count the votes, what do they do? Well, they're looking at the signed document by the governor, governor's seal, everything, throw it out. They went with the Democratic votes. That could possibly happen again. And when you have 4 states contesting the votes, the votes are going to be counted by the Congress, and then ultimately it's going to be up to, what's his name, Pence. And Pence is going to look at the votes, announce it for either Trump or Biden, but when you have 2 sets of votes, what's going to happen? Is he going to count both of them? No, that would not make sense. Is he going to prefer one or the other? Is he going to go with the will of the people? Or is he going to go with new information? It can go either way. And because look at what we got going on. There's still all these states with pending litigation. You got Georgia, Arizona, Michigan. Michigan's dropped the bomb today. Well, kind of. Apparently they had a forensic audit on their famous voting machine out of that one county that flipped 6,000 votes for Biden. And the guy, who was like some MIT, Harvard professor guy, some great credentials, said, looks like the algorithm, there's something about the algorithm that was off. It was set to some kind of 68% error, flipping votes. I don't know. He says there could be some issues there. I don't want to say the magic words to get my video pulled down. So you look that up and connect the dots for yourself. But to be fair, I believe that guy has a bit of a GOP bias. I think he's donated to the GOP $1,000 or something in the past, so it could be a biased opinion. Needs to be more investigation in that, because the Dominion voting servers or machines or whatever were used in 28 counties of Michigan. No, 46 counties of Michigan, 28 states. Some issues. Not saying there's evidence of any type of magical words, but definitely there's still pending litigation in many states. So it could fall along the lines that happened before with Nixon and Kennedy, where the ballots were cast, the votes were certified, everything, and then come January 6th, when the votes are counted and new evidence has arisen, they could definitely change everything. I mean, Biden's a human being. People in Congress, you think they're going to go one way? And I was actually surprised. I didn't think any dual sets of electors would show up to vote. I mean, you have your first set of electors appointed by, supposed to be appointed by a legislator, but in some states, which, refers to the Texas lawsuit, some states it was appointed by a Secretary of State, or a State Secretary rather, and they're certified by the governor. So you have that set of electors, and most of those are going for Biden. You have the other set of electors appointed by a legislator, which was constitutionally proper, I guess. And they also went, you get dueling electors. Pretty freaking crazy. I don't know. I mean, look all this up. Okay, this is a learning process for everybody as we're going through this. This is not something that's happened in, I think 1876 was when essentially it happened like this, and there was a deadlock in Congress. And I believe what they ultimately did was appoint a panel of judges and who knows who, and settle on some kind of agreement, which could potentially be what we have now. You got a Democratic House, and you got a Republican Senate. And if they can't agree on which votes to cast, because you'll have two sets of votes coming in from multiple states, could be in a deadlock. And I believe Biden might be the tiebreaker. Excuse me. I believe Pence might be the tiebreaker. The guys are both white-haired. It's a little confusing. But he might not want no part of it. He might throw both sets of votes out, which puts Biden not at 270. Or he could side with the president. He could side with the will of people with Biden. Whatever his his mental reasoning is. Or he could throw it to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court could we don't want no part of this, because that's pretty much all they've been fucking doing anyways. SCOTUS has been staying out all this. Well, this is not our... fuck out of here. The Supreme Court's supposed to look at a lot of... you know what I'm saying? I don't know. The establishment doesn't want Trump in office, and it's getting a little crazy. But who knows? He could throw out the Supreme Court. Like I say, you guys figure it out yourselves. And it could be like in 1876, or I believe it was right after the Civil War. Which, I mean, I would imagine the country was just as polarized as it is now. So they could appoint some panel of fucking who knows who. It's all up in the air. The point being, it's still up in the air. It's still a long shot. Don't think Trump can pull this off, but it's that little glint of hope. It just makes it so exciting. I could be looking back at these videos in a month and whatever. I'm not going to get mad. It's going to be a bummer if Biden gets in, because you look at his freaking cabinet coming in, and he's already bound down to China to some degree. And don't get me started on that. That's a real threat. But anyways, I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? It's point being, we still got a chance. There's still hope. it's I don't it's. I mean, you gotta take it with a grain of salt, I guess. I don't know. I get excited. You get your ups, you get your downs. I mean, you see all this other news going on. You see the new information that came out with the Michigan voting machines, like I said. You get the I believe it was the top GOP guy out of Georgia made some comments about sending more electors, or I know they voted. They sent a second set of electors. So you got all this stuff still being contested. But the mainstream media is not saying any of this. They're just like, it's over. But that's all they've been saying, it's over. And it's still going to come down to the vote. And even that, on January 6th, we still might not know the answers. It could still progress for another 2 weeks of court battles and litigations and who knows what. I mean, this is all a new fucking process for most of us, and I'm learning as I'm going too. Fascinating, to say the least. But I'm a believer in God, and it's in His hands, and whatever's supposed to be happening. Or Trump, you see what he's doing, still surround himself with loyalists. He's still got the potential for some kind of martial law. Like I ain't, Leonardo DiCaprio, Wolf of Wall Street. I ain't fucking leaving. Which to me would be a good scenario in the sense that I don't want to be beholden to China. And whatever the fucking outcome of this is, there's going to be some level of skirmishes. You might need some troops to control the masses. You already have the whole march on DC or whatever, Stop the Steal this past weekend. You had the Proud Boys out there. You had all kinds of just regular, Trump supporters out there, and then Antifa comes out starting shit, and they get the fuck beat out of them. But there's like 4 or 5 stabbings in the process. A lot of people in critical condition. Don't remember. Some of them, I believe, got shot in the stomach too. Speaking of troops, I read a report today that the governor had like 200 troops outside the state capitol, so that second group of electors couldn't come in and make their counter vote. That sounds pretty shady. I don't know. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Maybe some good news, maybe some no news. There's still a lot of news I want to cover, actually. The stuff that Joe Biden's been saying, he's definitely not the person he thought he was, Mr. Democratic voter. I got to get together some clips or something, and we'll go over that tomorrow. Big news on these freaking vaccines coming in. If you have, I got to make a whole freaking segment on that. Oh, anyways. So there we are. I'll see you tomorrow. And like and subscribe or whatever people do. Follow me on Twitch, BitChute. And that's it for the day.